KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good Tuesday morning to everyone out there. It is November 11th. Also, it is Veterans Day, and we want to give a big thanks to those who served our nation and fought for our freedom.
Absolutely. And before we get to weather and traffic today, let's go ahead and talk about some of the discounts that veterans can get on this very day. There's quite a few of them here.
Absolutely. So let's start at IHOP, where veterans can get a free red, white, and blueberry pancake combo. At Plucker's Wing Bar, veterans can also get a free meal, which includes an entree side and a non-alcoholic beverage up to $16 in value. And this is for dine-in only. How about Main Event? The location off of Highway 151 is offering a free double cheeseburger with fries as well as 30 minutes of gameplay. The Express Car Wash, veterans can get a free car wash at all 5 San Antonio locations.
And Krispy Kreme giving vets a free small coffee, hot or iced, and a donut. Cracker Barrel serving up a free sunrise pancake special, and at Chipotle, vets can buy one and get one free meal. Also, Applebee's participating, offering one free full-size entree, and some places will require a form of military ID.
So we have a lot more of these deals and discounts, also these freebies available for you. All you got to do is scan the QR code and go to our website, KSAT.com.
And a reminder that today on KSAT Plus, we are going to be streaming our 1-hour news special on the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. So this is a deep look at the connections between San Antonio veterans and the Vietnam War. We
will be sharing their stories, which some of these have never been told in the past 5 decades. And again, this airs today, one early showing 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then one later on in the evening at 9 p.m., all on KSAT Plus.
And again, thank you to all the veterans out there for your service. Right now it is 43 degrees out there, a very cold start to the morning. Of course, we had the jacket, but it's looking nice already. The sun's already coming out.
Yeah, looks great, Justin.
Yeah, it's going to warm up quickly, guys. I know it shows 40s there, but we're going to be in the 50s soon, and you can lose the jacket. Temperatures will get to very comfortable levels by this afternoon. This is where we started out, though, 38. One of our coldest mornings in a long while. 32 Kerrville, 33 Hondo, 34 Pleasanton. So even here in the city, we dropped to 38 or 37, depending on where you were. 36 in New Braunfels, 38 Gonzales, but noticeably absent from that map are a lot of freezing temperatures, minus Comfort and Kerrville, really. Those were kind of the only spots in over towards Lakey where we saw temperatures dip briefly down to freezing. And here we are. We're back into the 50s now, so that is a really quick warm-up. 52 Converse, 51 Seguin, 45 right now. Nixon, 46 in Bandera, still 38 in Comfort. But yes, these numbers will all be warming up area-wide. And with a southerly breeze, that'll get us up to 72. Now, that southerly breeze does another thing for us, and it's not such a good thing, and that is increase the fire danger. Winds gusting 25 miles per hour, low humidity. We'll talk about that threat and the issues and alerts that we have in place right now for that coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, quick check of your traffic authority as we get you out on the roads at 9 o'clock, 9:01 in the morning, and things are looking pretty good for all of our drivers out there. No major incidents to let you know about as we give you a look there at the west side of town. That's 90 at Nogalitos. Again, we got some ongoing construction taking place. 35 both directions over by Martin and McCullough. So just be careful. You're about to step outside the roads. We know that we got a lot of folks that are taking the day off for Veterans Day. So just be safe if you're about to step outside on this Tuesday morning.
Well, now to your top stories at 9. Gunfire exchange between 2 drivers ends with the death of one and an arrest of the other. This happened on the city's north side.
So this all happened around 5:30 last night off of Beller Drive. That is near Lock Hill Selma and Northwest Military. Officers found a 58-year-old man dead at the scene. Investigators say the other man is 23 years old. He lived nearby and actually went back into his home, to grab another gun before the shots continued.
He is now being detained and cooperating with police, but at this point, detectives have not said if he will face charges as they work to piece together exactly what led to this deadly confrontation. Well, today, 3 former San Antonio police officers are home free after a jury returned a not guilty verdict on all counts in the shooting death of Melissa Pettis that happened back in 2023.
So we, of course, were following this trial very closely. It lasted 21 days, but in the end, the jury cleared Alfred Flores, Nathaniel Villalobos, and Eleazar Alejandro of murder and aggravated assault charges. Now that this case is over, though, the question now is what happens next with the 3 former officers?
What's next for them? There are many remedies that are available for these individuals, and we're going to have to explore them carefully.
What do you mean remedies?
Well, there are remedies at law, and I'm not going to go into them at this time.
Potential like civil action?
I'm not going to go into them at this time, but there are potential remedies for a malicious prosecution, a prosecution based on a lack of probable cause.
Well, as the prosecutors on this case, they rushed out of the courtroom, and we later got this response from the DA's office, quote, "The Bexar County District Attorney's Office respects the jury's verdict and has no further comment," end quote. And here is SAPD's response. So it's, quote, "The city acknowledges the jury verdict today. However, the civil litigation and disciplinary processes are separate and distinct from the criminal process and will continue to defend the city in the civil litigation and discipline issued former officers involved."
Now, the San Antonio Police Officers Association also sent us a statement. They are also known as SAPOA. They responded saying that they are, quote, "thankful for the not guilty verdict handed down by a Bexar County jury today." They also took aim at the city and the prosecution, saying, quote, "We have complained about the double standard within the department and the fact that wrong decisions are being made due to political pressures. D. Gonzalez and co-prosecutors Daryl Harris and David Lunan have no place representing our communities," end quote. Each officer's original charges carried maximum sentences of life in prison. And this morning, 2 major lawsuits are now pending over the deadly Hill Country floods. Families of children who died at Camp Mystic are suing the camp's owners.
So the first suit, filed by parents of the Heavens 27 group, alleges that gross negligence and reckless disregard for safety. It claims that the camp housed girls in flood-prone cabins and failed to follow state evacuation rules, calling the deaths an entirely preventable tragedy. So another suit was filed by the family of Eloise Peck, an 8-year-old camper who died.
Both suits seek over $1 million in damages. Camp attorney staff said that they did their best during this unprecedented disaster. Now, Camp Mystic plans to reopen next summer with new safety protocols. KSAT is reviewing the documents and will continue to keep you updated.
Well, KSAT Investigates has learned the cause and manner of death for Regina Santos Aviles. She was a congressional staffer for U.S. Representative Tony Gonzalez. Now, the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office ruled her death as a suicide caused by self-immolation, and that is the act of setting yourself on fire.
Back in September, Uvalde police told us that Santos Aviles was alone when she caught fire at her home. KSAT Investigates reporter Daniela Ibarra has filed several records requests for 911 calls, police reports, and body camera footage from that day. Uvalde police say that they are investigating the incident along with the Texas Rangers.
And if you know anyone who is struggling, there is help available. So you can reach that suicide and crisis lifeline by calling or texting 988 or using the chat box at 988lifeline.org. You can also text MHA to 7471741 to reach the crisis text line. And here's today's 9 at 9. After weeks of political gridlock, the Senate has approved a deal to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The 60-40 vote restores funding for federal agencies and gets hundreds of thousands of workers paid again. The bill now heads to the House for approval.
Dozens of women are taking legal action against Army leadership here in Texas. The lawsuits claiming that gynecologist Blaine McCraw was allowed to keep treating patients at Fort Hood despite past misconduct reports. He's accused of performing unnecessary procedures and even secretly recording exams. McCraw has been suspended, and his attorney says that he is cooperating.
The U.S. Supreme Court turned down a chance to overturn its precedent that recognizes a constitutional right to same-sex marriage. This decision threw out an appeal that had upset LGBTQ+ supporters who feared that the High Court might revisit the decade-old ruling and potentially change it.
The United States is providing nearly $12.6 million in additional emergency assistance to Jamaica and Haiti following Hurricane Melissa. The majority of the funding, more than $10 million, will go to Jamaica to help with clearing debris, providing shelter, and emergency health care.
Well, rental car companies are seeing a spike in one-way rentals. This comes amid the widespread flight cancellations at major U.S. airports. So rental car company Hertz has reported a 20% rise in one-way rentals. Travelers are renting vehicles as a backup plan to help reach their destination.
Okay, Amazon fans, listen up. They are turning Black Friday into more than a week-long event, launching its sales on November the 20th. This is a full week before Thanksgiving, and then sales on Amazon will extend through December 1st.
Well, Visa and MasterCard have reached a deal to settle 20 years of legal fights, and they say part of that deal will be lower fees for merchants. So retail trade groups say that the 0.1% reduction in credit card fees won't actually save customers anything at all.
How about this? Italy's biggest exporters say that President Donald Trump's tariffs on pasta are climbing to over 100%, making it too expensive to do business in America. They say that they could pull out of stores as soon as January. The White House says the tariffs are only preliminary and will not be finalized for months.
And check this out. How about going to bed saying goodnight moon, goodnight mitten? A childhood classic is coming to
That's
life.
pretty good.
Right? In a storybook-inspired hotel suite. So the Sheraton Boston just unveiled the Goodnight Moon suite. This is a full-scale recreation of the Great Green Room from the 1947 classic. So the suite sleeps 2 adults, 2 kids, and is bookable by February 20th, 2026. Okay, this is for about $800 for a 2-night stay. That's the catch there.
There is definitely the catch there. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with this book.
What?
My parents did not read this to me growing up. Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think I even in elementary school read it, and of course I bought it for my daughter as well, and read it to her, and it was cute because then she starts looking around her room and saying goodnight to all the objects in the room. And it's a way for the kids to delay bedtime also. So keep that in mind, parents. But it's a great book.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah. Apparently there's a version in Spanish too. So
well, there you go.
Check it out. Okay. 9:09 right now, and we're looking at 52 degrees outside, still ahead on GMSA at 9 o'clock.
Well, the impact of the government shutdown is already being felt by millions of people, and still ahead as we get close to the end of the shutdown. Why people can still expect to feel the impact long after it's opened back up. And as cities expand, the chance of a wildfire also grows. What experts are telling homeowners so they can be prepared in case of an emergency.
When San Antonio needs help, San Antonio shows up. And yesterday, that was proved right once again at the Fill the Truck food drive at Pinstack on 410. Before sunrise, the giving spirit was already rolling. Our very first donation came in at 7:19, and from there, the generosity never slowed down.
Here you go. Go for it, y'all. Put it in there.
By day's end, San Antonio packed the truck with more than 16,000 pounds of non-perishable food, diapers, and pet food.
How many meals does that equal for the San Antonio community?
Yeah, this amount of food, that's the equivalent of 13,333 meals, right? Just think about it. All those people, one meal, that's 13,300 people who are going to eat tomorrow because of everybody's generosity today.
And in a powerful show of support, Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union stepped up with a $25,000 donation to the San Antonio Food Bank, helping to ensure no family goes without food during this critical time.
When you think about $25,000, that turns into about 250,000 pounds of food. Wow. That truck over there, there'd be about 12 of those. So it goes a long way in helping us set the table for families in need.
And the impact doesn't stop here. You can continue to donate and support local families at safoodbank.org, or to get more information, visit our website, ksat.com. For KSAT 12 News, I'm David Elder.
And again, thank you to everyone who went out there in the good weather to give those donations.
Yeah, it looked a little chilly out there, but of course, always thankful to all of our community stepping up in times of need.
San Antonio always does a great job with it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we got to talk a little bit about fire danger, guys. Today is another red flag warning day, which means fire danger will be high because of dry conditions and blustery winds. You're looking at file video here. I believe this was from last year, but as cities grow, the chances for wildfires grow, and experts say it becomes harder to protect wildland from becoming a victim of fire. Right now, the Texas A&M Forest Service wants homeowners to take action against wildfires.
The most influential part of the defensible space is that first 5 feet from your home to 5 feet out. So that includes things like the vegetation around your home.
So recent drought conditions and early freezes have continued to dry out vegetation, making fires easier to ignite and spread. The Texas A&M Forest Service monitors fire danger and works closely with local officials to prepare and respond accordingly. I'm hoping we don't have a scene like that today, for that matter, or really this year, but we are going to get some gusty winds a little bit later this afternoon. We'll see some gusts maybe up around 25 miles per hour. Now, these are southerly winds, which, you know, seems a bit counterintuitive, right? We get these southerly winds that bring in Gulf moisture. The problem with this is that it takes time for that moisture to get transported north. So you get these gusty winds, and we're still not getting high enough humidity levels. So that's where the fire danger comes in today. And if you look at the forecast relative humidity around 3 p.m. today, I would say 20% is a good cutoff. So we're at 21% potentially here around San Antonio when it comes to the relative humidity. But you get further north and these numbers drop off. So you combine gusty winds with humidity levels below 20%, and that presents a pretty good fire threat. And the Texas A&M Forest Service is certainly highlighting that this afternoon for areas along and north of Highway 90 and I-10. Where you see these red areas, that's where you have extreme fire danger. The orange is very high. That includes parts of Bexar County. It's also been very dry. So there's a lot of factors that go into this, but today is another day in which we will see a significant fire threat. Let's go outside for you. Blue skies. What a scene there. 52 at the airport at New Braunfels, Converse, and Stinson. So consistent across the board. And we're starting to see those southerly winds kick in. Bernie already seeing a south-southwesterly wind at 14. San Antonio, a southerly wind at about 7, and you'll see these start to pick up even more so here within the next several hours. Forecast for today, 62 at 11 a.m., 69 at 1 p.m., and a high temperature today will be right around 72. Just perfect, beautiful blue skies all day long. Great weather, other than it will be a little breezy from time to time. 70 at 5 p.m. and then we'll drop into the 60s tonight. Now, it will not be as cold tonight going into tomorrow morning because we just will have more moisture in place, and with those winds too, that will help to keep temperatures a little bit warmer. And speaking of humidity, yeah, it's dry today, but by tomorrow, you start to see dew points edging up into the pleasant category, but that's those dew points will be quite a bit higher than they are today. So the fire threat goes away almost immediately tomorrow. And I think by Thursday and Friday, you've got enough humidity there to start generating some maybe morning fog, morning clouds. And then by the weekend, boy, it gets muggy. We'll have temperatures in the 80s, but it will also be sticky, and you won't feel a lot like November. All right, here's a look at the Futurecast, and there have been some important changes to the forecast here because our upper level low, this is the one that we expected to bring us some rain this weekend. Well, there's a couple problems. It's still out over the Pacific, so we're not getting good weather data yet. Once it gets a little closer to the coast, we'll get the data that gets input into our models, and I think that will give us a better representation of what may unfold. But also, the models in general are just kind of backing off, the timing of this, so it's slower. So I'm already fast forwarding to Sunday here, and notice we don't have any rain. That's because the low is still back out over parts of Utah and the Four Corners. But also it's further north, which would take a lot of the energy further north with it. Now, late Sunday into early Monday, it does show a few showers and storms developing along our frontal boundary. But I do think for sure that Saturday will be quieter, so that's a big change to the forecast. If you were watching yesterday, we had mentioned Saturday may be the day, but now it's looking more like Sunday and Monday. And I got to tell you, if this thing keeps migrating further north, then we'll have to lower rain chances too, which is unfortunate. But that's just the way things are trending. In the meantime, warm and humid, 83 Thursday, 84 Friday, 83 Saturday, and there you see those small rain chances Sunday into Monday. Okay, I got to give a quick shout out.
Yeah.
San Antonio Philharmonic, SA Phil.
Very nice.
Yeah, isn't that? It's a cool shirt, right? They sent me the shirt because just a couple weeks ago, I got to do a program with them called Weather Ahead. And the conductor, Felipe Tristan, and I, of course, the orchestra played, and they did it beautifully. But the whole program was for students around Bexar County where it was weather related. So I got to talk a little bit about weather, and then the orchestra played music that was related to weather. And you'd be surprised how much weather influences the music.
Yeah.
So they had lightning and thunder with the drums and the snare drums, and I'm not musically inclined. But I was fascinated by it all. And just watching them all play is so talented, and they're so good. If you want to go check them out, they're great to watch, and it's very entertaining. So San Antonio Philharmonic. Nice. We appreciate you. Thank you for the shirt.
Thank you.
And yeah, a lot of fun.
Wait a minute. Aren't these the students that you impressed with your 6-7 knowledge?
I did, yeah, I did.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that, right?
Yeah. All the adults groaned, and then all the students cheered. So that's,
Well, yeah, you got to get in good with the students.
you do.
Also, Fiesta colors. So you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with the 6-7 and also the Fiesta colors. That is a beautiful shirt.
Justin's a big star. Very good. Well, thank you for being here, and then we'll be right back. And day 41, the longest on record, and while the Senate appears to be moving towards a funding deal to end the shutdown, the House still needs to vote on it.
And this is all even when the federal government does open back up. Americans could still feel the impacts of the shutdown. It may take a while for workers to receive back pay, and passengers could still see disruptions when it comes to air travel. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan explains why it could take a while to return back to normal.
Peanut butter. They love their peanut butter.
At this Los Angeles food bank, they've seen a surge in people coming for free food since the government shutdown began on October 1st.
They just don't have the money, and they need it. They need to feed their kids.
Roughly 42 million Americans receive food stamps to help pay for groceries through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP. But because of the shutdown, many November payments were not sent.
It's just not easy at all.
Even when the government opens back up, it's unclear when SNAP recipients like Chantil Manuel will get their benefits. The Department of Agriculture has to send the funds to each state, and the states then have to process it. Furloughed workers may also feel the financial burden for a while. More than 1 million federal employees have gone without pay during the shutdown. Personal finance columnist Jean Chatsky says those workers should contact their mortgage or car lenders if they're worried about missing payments.
Many of these places have skip-a-pay programs or other forms of relief where they'll actually work with you.
And air travel could still be impacted even after the shutdown ends. The FAA has had to gradually reduce air traffic because airports and air traffic controls across the country don't have enough staff to operate. It's caused mass flight delays and cancellations. But even before the shutdown began, there was a shortage of air traffic controllers.
I used to have about 4 controllers retire a day before the shutdown. I'm now up to 15 to 20 a day are retiring.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warns passengers may still see delays and cancellations even after the government opens back up. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
All right. Thank you very much to Jen for that. Well, time now is 9:27, and we're looking at 52 degrees outside. There's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, San Antonio will soon be home to data centers. Coming up, we're going to look at why this news comes with a little bit of controversy.
And seasonal depression, you may have heard of all this. People experience this when the seasons change. Coming up, we're going to see the signs, the symptoms, and what you can do if you feel or see some of those symptoms arise.
Welcome back. It's 9:31, and the conversation around what to do with the closed San Antonio ISD school campuses continues.
And this morning, we're getting a first look. You see the map right here at some of the companies and organizations that have made a pitch to move into some of these buildings right here. So here's a list of 10 groups interested in renting one of the 5 buildings out of the more than dozen that are available. Again, we got this list as an open records request. So if you look at your screen there, Brass Development is a real estate company. East San Antonio Community Development, Flight Academy. A few churches are also interested.
So Nova Academy has schools in other parts of Texas, and the district would not release more details on which properties they want to rent or what they are proposing to do, saying they are still in the RFP process. Meanwhile, there are additional community happenings to discuss other buildings still vacant. The next meeting is scheduled for November 28th, and this will be focused on Rodriguez Montessori at 6 p.m.
And there's one on December 12th focused on Steele Montessori. Information on locations can be found on KSAT.com. All you have to do is search SAISD. Well, San Antonio is soon projected to house close to 50 data centers. That's according to District 6 Councilman Rick Galvan.
So the data centers power our online activity, but they come with some controversy here. You can scan that QR code and it will take you to an interactive map that shows the clusters of data centers in San Antonio that are established or will be in the coming years.
So the controversy surrounds the impact of these data centers and how it may leave a negative impact on the environment. Councilman Galvan filed the first request for City Council to consider tracking and regulating these centers.
Currently, there's little to no specific regulation on the way data centers are constructed or allowed to be built. So, well, what things can we do here to make sure that these entities are providing some community benefits in the area? How can we make sure that they're reducing impacts to the environment overall? How can we make sure that the energy and water usage here is being used as effectively as possible and not, anything too extreme? I'm not sure if that'll happen through the CCR. It's going to be a conversation the City Council will have, about what our direction is. But I think it's worth the conversation given that we are one of the largest markets for new development of data centers in the state.
Okay, Galvan said that there are approximately 14 centers in his district alone, District 6, and you can head over to our website, KSAT.com, for a full interactive map of these data center locations. Well, this morning, hearts are heavy. Bright Star in South Texas softball was dimmed over the weekend. Southwest High School Dragons softball standout Angelina Terrazas died Saturday after a battle with ovarian cancer.
Laura Pachado spoke with one of her coaches who's remembering how Terrazas inspired others on and off the field.
She gave it her all.
You could feel it, you could see it. She was just a fierce competitor.
Southwest High School Dragons softball pitching coach Taylor Dagey says Angelina Terrazas didn't do anything halfway. She says when Terrazas took the mound, she didn't hold back and expected the same from her teammates.
They played hard behind her because they knew her work ethic. She would call them out and hold them accountable. And that is what you need in a leader, somebody who's going to lift everybody up.
Dagey's mind goes back to February, the team's district opener.
She pitched our first district game in pain, hadn't gone to the doctor yet for it. We as coaches didn't even know. She was uncomfortable, but she came out and she struck out 14 girls. We won 7-0.
That pain finally sent Terrazas to the doctor. Weeks later, the 17-year-old revealed she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, stage 3.
We had to tell the team what was going on. Like I said, they were scared at first, but it brought them together even more so as a team because it's okay, now we're playing for something or somebody bigger than the softball game.
Coach says Terrazas fought hard to beat it. Saturday morning, her teammates and the softball community came together to celebrate with her as the district presented her with her high school diploma. The same night, she died. Dagey says Terrazas' strength, heart, and selflessness touched everyone she knew.
She was just a great friend to these girls, a great teammate, and she represented this community so well on this field when she was in class.
Pashada Pope, KSAT 12 News.
Some tough news there, and our hearts are with the Southwest SAISD community. Angelina Terrazas had earned a full scholarship to the University of the Cumberlands. That's in Kentucky, and we're told that Soulshine Industries, the company that personalized the caskets for the Robb Elementary victims, will personalize Angelina's casket.
And tomorrow there is a planned prayer circle for Terrazas, and will continue as scheduled for those who loved her to come together. So the event is happening at 5:30 p.m. This is at the Southwest softball field.
Okay, let's take you outside with live cam. Again, a chilly start to your Tuesday morning. Got some folks headed out for maybe some Veterans Day activities. Justin, how are we looking out there?
Well, a lot warmer than it was this morning when we dropped down into the 30s a little bit earlier, 38 officially here in San Antonio, but we've already made it into the low 50s. So that is definitely what you would call a rapid warm-up. 52 degrees at the airport, 52 New Braunfels, 52 Converse, and 52 extensions, so very consistent numbers there with southerly winds starting to pick up. We're starting to see these become more and more gusty, and it will be a problem today. So the wind and that far right column where you see humidity, those will be two important factors as we head into the afternoon, as we outlined earlier, because of that threat for fires. High temperatures today should make the 70s in most spots. You'll still find a few 60s dotted throughout the hill country, but low 70s will be the norm. And it's close to just perfect weather here across South Texas. Now, that does start to change a little bit more as we get into Wednesday and Thursday because humidity will increase, and so too do the temperatures. We're expecting high temperatures to get up into the 80s, if not mid-80s by Friday. So warm going into the weekend, and we outlined some of those changes this weekend as well, with the rain chances kind of shifting a little bit. We'll get back into that. We'll also talk about space, solar flare, some interesting stuff there. We'll get you that information coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Justin. Well, now to your health headlines and growing concern about flu season this year.
As Sophie Flay reports, flu reports from overseas could be a sneak peek of things to come right here at home.
This morning, flu cases overseas are raising concerns here at home. The flu season in the UK hitting doctors' offices and hospitals 1 month earlier than usual, with cases 3 times higher than the same time last year. And in Japan, some schools have been forced to close. The reason? A new variant of the flu strain, the H3N2.
We have seen decreasing population-wide vaccination for a variety of reasons. And so you have a more vulnerable population and a more serious strain of the virus. This tells us we could see an increase in cases, hospitalizations, and unfortunately deaths.
Here in the U.S., a record 280 children died from the flu last season, the highest level since 2009. This year, doctors say the government shutdown is posing an extra challenge, with the CDC not updating its data for weeks.
We're starting to see a low rise in places like Georgia and Hawaii, but we're also flying blind because we don't have the same data we once did about flu. So getting that vaccine now to protect against a potentially early flu season is absolutely critical.
The vaccine is recommended for everyone over the age of 6 months, but vaccination rates among children are on the decline, with less than half vaccinated last season, compared to more than 60% before the COVID pandemic. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, millions of people are estimated to experience some seasonal affective disorder, according to the National Institutes of Health. This is a type of depression that happens during specific seasons and often in the fall and the winter. While it's common, many may not even know that they have it.
So what are the signs and things to do to overcome some of these symptoms? Well, some of those symptoms include feeling sad, sometimes described as feeling blah. Limbs can also feel heavy. There's also low energy and a tendency to want to sleep a little bit more and weight gain.
When those symptoms start to become more prominent, they start to cause problems in day-to-day living, then that's when we look at a difference between just having winter blues versus actually being a problem of clinical concern.
While focusing on lifestyle factors can help and maintain a regular sleep schedule instead of being tempted to oversleep, exercise can also help improve the mood and health overall.
All right, definitely got to take care of ourselves during these colder months. Time now is 9:40, 52 degrees outside. You're watching GMSA at 9 o'clock.
Well, a fitness trainer survived a heart attack. This is thanks to help of strangers. After the break, what he's telling others in hopes that they can learn from his own experience.
Welcome back to GMSA 9 o'clock, 9:44 for you. Well, a man's life saved, all thanks to the help of strangers.
That's right, and our Myra Arthur met Greg Bell at the site where he collapsed on the side of the road. And this morning, he's turning to KSAT to help find the people who saved him.
Keep that core tight. Perfect right there.
Greg Bell is a fitness trainer.
You've been an athlete your whole life.
My whole life, yeah.
Which is why what happened to you is even more surprising.
I felt like Lance Armstrong. I always sprint through downtown on the bike, and then the next minute I'm like, I don't feel good.
Greg was cycling through the King William neighborhood when he was hit with sudden fatigue.
Walk me over to where you actually laid down.
Between these two trees.
And you just laid back in the grass.
That's when the couple was walking down the street, said, do you need help? I don't even remember seeing them. And I looked at her and she goes, you have been passed out for 2 minutes. My eyes didn't shut. I just had a glare stare at her. And that's enough. She called 911.
Greg hopes to find that couple to thank them for getting him the help he needed, because turns out he was having a heart attack.
What do you think that couple did for you that day?
Saved my life. If I would have stayed here just 10 more minutes, that's when the heart stopped.
Greg doesn't remember much about his helpers, except for the blue Tesla the couple was driving. But Greg does know this. He wants others to be aware of the signs of a heart attack.
I went from feeling like, world-class cyclist to, oh my gosh, I got to take a nap.
His blood pressure had been higher that week.
And just blew it off. I'm like, I'll get to it.
Greg also encourages people not to ignore a family history of heart problems. It's part of what's motivated him to stay in shape.
Then I should have rested more. Yeah, I exercised enough, but I didn't rest enough. And so people need to know their family history. They need to check the blood pressure.
You've slowed down a little bit.
I slowed down a lot. 7 days in the hospital changes your life.
Against Vucevic, Wemby a three. San Antonio in front. Wow. Another triple.
There goes that man once again. In case you missed it, another dramatic win for our San Antonio Spurs, and it was all due to Victor Wembanyama. Wemby to the rescue. Spurs were down late in the fourth quarter before Victor sinks a transition three to tie the game up. And then right after that, look at this little crossover action right there on Vucevic. Boom, hits that one from downtown. That is the game winner in the Windy City for the Spurs. Go, Spurs, go. Yay. Okay, so Spurs get this one 121-117. San Antonio is now 8-2 on the season. This is their best start since 2015. Wemby dropping 38 points on them, doing Justin Horn type things on the court. 6 3-pointers. Spurs are back home to play the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night.
Goodness, yeah, go Spurs, go.
They're also releasing that Fiesta gear today at the Rocket La Cantera. So the brand new Fiesta themed jerseys.
Very nice.
All that stuff's going to be out today.
Yeah, go
That'll
run
sell
by
out quick.
Yeah, I think
I'm sure,
so.
yeah.
You have to line up early.
There's a lot of enthusiasm going on with Spurs. And I went to bed thinking they had lost, and I woke up to find out that Wemby is clutch.
Yeah,
he's an alien.
Wonderful.
All right, guys, this is interesting. Overnight, we had a solar flare. This was a really strong one, strongest one of the year, detected by the Space Prediction Center. And this is run by NOAA and NASA, but they look at this stuff, and you can see very clearly this large solar flare. Now, initially, we would say that there would be some signal loss in high-frequency communication, radio and GPS. Now, there could be a solar storm associated with this, too. So we'll have to kind of wait and see, but pretty interesting just how strong it was. And the sun has been very active over the last month or so. All right, forecast for today. 62 at 11 o'clock, 66 at noontime. We'll see a high temperature right around 72 degrees today, so a warm day with gusty winds out of the south, gusting to 25 miles per hour. And then those winds will calm a little bit as we get into tonight, 65 at 7 o'clock, 63 at 8 p.m., and eventually down into the 50s by tomorrow morning, but certainly not as cold as what we've been dealing with. In fact, 30s are pretty much out of the picture now after this morning. High temperatures across the country today. That cold air mass that had been bringing snow and just bitter cold to the Great Lakes in the Northeast finally starting to erode, and you're seeing warmer temperatures move into that general vicinity. Here across Texas, it's mostly going to be 70s today, and then you'll find the really hot stuff in the desert Southwest. Places like Phoenix will be in the mid-80s, Los Angeles 78. But even Florida has been pretty cold. You see the highs there today, 68 in Miami. That is cool for South Florida. All right, big picture here. And you can see that storm system moving off the eastern seaboard here, and it is so very quiet. In fact, there is not even a drop of rain or snow really across the country at this hour. Maybe some lake effect snow up here across New York, but in general, this is a very quiet setup for now anyway. Here's what we're watching. You can kind of see a little bit of a dig in our trough here, maybe a little area of low pressure trying to develop. This is actually what will be bringing us potentially some weather over the weekend, although in true fashion here, the way these things play out, you get these cutoff lows that sink and they cut off from the jet stream, and they just become very difficult to forecast. And I think that that is the case with this low. It sinks south, and it does make it into Southern California. And again, with these cutoff lows, they can kind of drift, they can slow down. The models just struggle with them. But I will tell you this, just based on what we're seeing with the latest computer models, and this is the latest data coming in, it's slowing down, it's moving farther north, and both of these things are not great for our rain chances, if I'm being honest, especially this one. The further north it moves, the lower our rain chances will be. At this point, I feel pretty confident that we're going to see a quieter Saturday than we first anticipated. And if we're going to see any rains, probably Sunday into Monday now. That is the way it looks. So rain chances, we'll keep them at 30% Sunday and Monday, but if those trends continue, we unfortunately may have to lower them. I was optimistic, but it's not looking great anymore. 81 tomorrow, 83 Thursday, 84 Friday, and then you see the warm temperatures this weekend, maybe a little cooler early next week.
Good overall, but I know we need the rain, though.
We do. It's unfortunate that those rain chances are going down.
Okay,
Yep.
so it's a little bit of a weather roller coaster.
Pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Let's go ahead and check in with our friends at SA Live. Did you guys enjoy the cold morning? Hi.
Yes, okay, we are all about thanking our veterans today, and we have SA Live on the road here at Bubbas 33, but we want you guys to shout out the veterans in your life, so we have that QR code that our viewers can send in, but I wanted to ask you three if you had somebody you wanted to mention.
I'd like to give a shout out to my dad. You know, he was a veteran, and you know, he's buried out at Fort Sam Houston, but this is the time of year, you know, we think about him in these days. So yeah, that's my shout out.
Yeah, I don't have any direct family members, but I have a lot of friends that served, and I just want to give a shout out to everyone and all the veterans in San Antonio. We're Military City, USA, and I love that there are so many things going on today to support our veterans.
That is true.
Absolutely. For me, it's my grandpa. He passed away a few years back, but he was part of the reconstruction after World War II. So he was in Germany, outside of Berlin, when a lot of that was taking place. And then I have a very close uncle who was in the Marines, and a couple of cousins in the Marines as well. So big shout out to them. And as Justin said, all the veterans out there.
Yeah, thank you for your service for sure. We see you're wearing your red for Veterans Day.
Yes, I am. Well, thank you guys for sharing. And yes, to all veterans who watch KSAT here, again, Military City, USA. Now we are here at Bubbas 33, and I have Joe Rocha joining me because you guys are doing something really special today. What are you doing?
Yes, we are honoring our veterans. We have vouchers that we're handing out from 9 to noon, and then we're also allowing our veterans to come in and eat from 11 to 4. And we will be taking care of their meals, and we have a variety of food that we can offer for them.
That is amazing. I've seen veterans showing up outside already. They're not even open, and they are getting their vouchers. But what's really cool, if you didn't serve, you can come here, you can eat, you can mention SA Live and get a deal. And you can also purchase a gift card that they are donating. So when they get their vouchers, they're also getting a gift card that are left here by just people who wanted to give back.
So there's a lot of people in the community that actually are donating gift cards, varying from $5 to $15, $30. And so while limited supplies last, they can get a gift card, and they can also get their voucher as well.
That is beautiful. So we are not done. We also have a music performance coming up a little bit later here at Bubbas. But we also wanted to share, we're giving you a preview of a very interactive, one-of-a-kind performance that tells the story of World War I, also the origins of Veterans Day. So we are going to share that, as well as a local nonprofit, Pause for Purple Heart, and this is very special. We got to go see how they do what they do and train these dogs to help out veterans. That and much more coming up right here on SA Live.